talk with my mind like that we're wrong, can't keep it right. No, no. Poison, but we're perfect. See the revenge in your eyes. Spare the goodbyes, replace them with fights. Oh, put a gun, hand on the trigger. Can't pull the trigger, consumed by a figure. Me and you make one messed up masterpiece. Disaster filled dream bound to be going up in flames. You know I love the pain. We're going up in flames. We're going up. We're going. Twice round, you come round to me. Bound to be bad for me. Bad for each other. Keep making your messes mine. My mind is just mad at the time. Down for this fire. They strike the lighter. We're going up in flames. You know I love the pain. We're going up in flames. We're going up, we're going.
In the city where the heat is on all night on the beach till the break of dawn.
Welcome to Miami, bienvenido a Miami.
Bouncing in the club where the heat is on all night on the beach till the break of dawn. I'm going to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
Miami. South Beach, bringing the heat. Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that? Check it out.
It's always the most difficult question to answer is who you are. And that was for a long time a question I tried to answer. Who is Sasha Rees? Is that only my name? Or it's something more behind that story of who really I am? But if I look a little deeper behind the name, would be a hidden little boy, sad, alone, abandoned, and trying to find his place under the sky in this world. And oftentimes the best place to land would be in the arms of the dog. Safe, quiet, place of acceptance, not judgmental, and peaceful. And everything starts from there. Who am I? Who is Sasha Reese? So it's a journey of 30 years trying to answer that question. But everything started to unfold one day when I actually realized that freedom of one lays between the boundaries of his destiny. And hello, world. Hello, everyone. And thank you very much for stopping by one more Monday here at Sashri's World on our continuing podcast episodes under the series Grooming with a Positive Mental Attitude. Today, we're going to talk about shortness to riches. So, how it's kind of like what bothers me. Oftentimes from the groomers, you might hear that, oh, I'm not doing this for money. It's the job I enjoy. It's everything I flourished about. It's just kind of like I was always dreaming to, sustain my family from the hobby and dream job I always have. I like dogs so much. And then slowly what we are actually witnessing, the people get burned. The relationship get tough. The relationship to the kids and every loved ones around become more tougher. The paying the bills become very tough and becomes number one challenging thing to do. Even if we overcome all of those obstacles, and yet we have a lot of clients that are pressuring us on a lot of levels, then we ended up having that drama going on. I invested so much money in my education. I know perfectly how to hold scissors. I know perfectly how to style dogs, and I know everything well, yet because of unknown reason, I'm burning out. While preparing for this show on Facebook, I was just chatting with my audience on Instagram, and I said, like, just in the last month, I heard but 4 of my friends closing their shops. It's because the number one reason would be not because they can pay their bills, not because something is wrong with the business, but because they got overburned. They'll try to sell the shop for a couple significant time, but then when you want to step out, you don't find a buyer for your shop, you just close it down. So it's not only closing the shop, it's cutting back on dreams, cutting back on so much we invested in to do all of these wonderful things, to serve our clients, to serve our family, to merge passion with a job. It's possible, but should be done through specific way. And that's what I'm thinking in education of the professional groomers is missing, is how to develop a mental attitude needed to overburn never happen. So that's the very important thing. So today we're going to talk about shortcut to riches. What can I have? Is there any shortcut that I can make rich? So, but living the Western world combines the word rich only with the financial richness. We're actually, from the philosophical standpoint of view, being rich financially is just a consequence of inner richness that's measured through the philosophical point of view through 12 characteristics. First one would be positive mental attitude. Richness in positive mental attitude. I'm rich with a positive mental attitude. Number one symptom of being rich, and symptom that actually richness is developing from within, and it's just a matter of time when it's gonna glow, like a glow outside yourself, like shine outside yourself, would be a positive mental attitude. The next one would be a sound physical health. What matters
money in account? What matters how many clients a day you have? What matters everything else? If everything of that is achieved, but the bigger price for the money that we need to pay would be a physical illness. So after the positive mental attitude, the second symptom of real richness is in our life would be sound physical health. Then the third one would be harmony in the human relationships. How many money is in an account doesn't make one that blows up every single relationship any more richness, any more richer than the homeless man. What that does, these people without positive mental attitude, without sound health, without harmony in the human relationships, makes their soul, or actually might I say our soul, be homeless. Our body and mind is a driving, how can I say, it's a automobile of our soul. So in order to protect the real foreverness of our life, we need to keep attention on salvation of the soul. It's nothing to do with the physical body. It's nothing to do with anything that we attach ourselves to. It's only one path that we need to care about: salvation. Whatever I need to go in this life, no matter how hard those lessons should be, everything is for my own good, for my path of salvation. So if that's not done properly, and if that's not, and oftentimes, the more we suffer in life, the more is for our salvation because of the choices we made previously. And that's where everything starts, with a positive mental attitude. And what positive mental attitude means, it's actually all this podcast about. And that's, I think, the most what we miss in the industry is a positive mental attitude and support. Not necessarily as a community inside the industry as well. That's the story on its own as well. But I don't see it as much as problematic as fitting it in line with the market. How do we serve our clients with understanding their real needs? That where we need to gain a positive mental attitude towards our clients. That will actually award us, as you saw, social Europe. So more we give out, more we will get back. And then on top of that, that will award our physical health. And that will award our harmony in a human relationship. I was top winning handler in Europe. I had almost 800 champions. I traveled the world with a private jet, showing for one of the most expensive dogs you ever see in world, for one of the most pickiest clients ever walked this planet. I was successful and famous in my field, yet my home, my children, relationship with the other people, relationship with my spouse, relationship with a friend actually didn't exist. No matter how many trophies I had, no matter how many great successes I named in the field of my job, I couldn't make it because my harmony in relationship was missing. So of course, very important portion of the richness would be freedom of fear. Again, no matter how much money we have, if we are afraid of we're going to lose and everyone is stealing from us and we need more because no matter what reason, the fear going to hold us back. The fear going to put us in a prison of our own mind that we wouldn't be able to escape because we were going to be thinking that we are free to go wherever we want. The question becomes, where do you want to go? Well, I don't want to go, and wherever I want to go, I don't want to go because I'm afraid of going. So the freedom of all kind of fear. So freedom freedom of fear would be something that a lot of people fail of. And because of that, from the bottom of my heart, I recommend you the book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, where actually he faces devil as a source of four deaths. He said, like, devil is a product of the man's fear, and the fear is product of the man's mind. So the devil is product of the man's mind through the fear. So through the fear, man's mind get occupied by devil, and once we are occupied by devil, we can't act because we got frozen. And there is a way to way out, and how you outwit the devil would be a great source and great great book to read. So then, hope for achievement. Hope for achievement is something that's very characteristic for the rich men, because they never doubt that achievement's gonna happen, that the goals that we are setting the goals in order to make the goals happen. But the goals, the person that sets a goal and the person that achieve a goal is not the same person. So the goal actually becomes a word for whatever change we needed to do in order to become person worthy of goals. And then once we have a goal achieved, then we got blessed by having a goal in our possession. Then we actually move on to the next level, because it's not about the goal, it's about the path needed to be changed, and distinctive change need to be made. So I become, and I move on from the person A wishes the goal to a person B achieved the goal. Even the name of those two persons would be a Sasha, it wouldn't be the same person. So the great tool for our inner development always is a goal setting. And for the groomers, it's not only on how many dogs I'm gonna groom this day and how I'm gonna push this grooming actually happen. It's about me doing it with a sound health, positive mental attitude, in harmony with other people around me, completely free of fears, all kind of fears, all kind of anxiety. No matter how much money I have, if I'm anxious, I'm on a level of the homeless person. Regardless how many square meters I live, if I'm afraid of life, no matter on which level, I'm on a level of homeless person. I need to beg, I need to ask others for help, but I can't call myself rich. So then we move on. Capacity for faith. Again, it's very close to the hope of achievement. Capacity of faith is actually, I hope to the best, and I know it's going to be like that. I don't doubt. Willingness to share one's blessings. If I hold everything for myself and I hoard as a hamster, which kind of richness we are talking about? Which kind of the richness we are talking about if there is only for me? And then, of course, that willingness of not sharing, or willingness of sharing only in December so I can get a tax cut. And so instead of paying to the government, I'm going to pay to someone else. That's not an idea. Or making live videos on doing the good things. The God said, like, the Jesus said nicely. It says, like, you help others in silence, and I'm gonna award you publicly. So willingness to share the blessings with others shouldn't be something we are using for our marketing and publicity. That's a sacredness of help. That we help without being seen. That we don't humiliate people we help. And more of, we don't humiliate ourselves by making us thinking that we are more than they are. because they may be just missing one source of how the modern world, emphasize richness. But what happens with all of these 12 signs that clever people, especially Napoleon Hill, wrote out, that what does richness in a life of one's mean? So next, move on. Labor of love in service of the others. Labor of love. Labor of love is a very kind act of peaceful mind. And that mind, no matter how much money is on the bank account, that person feels enriched and empowered. The next would be open mind on all subjects. That I have my positions and I have my perception and I have my paradigms, but I don't stick to them, because I know that the way I'm programmed, you are programmed too. So I don't judge your opinion, because I know actually it's not your opinion at all. As we moved through this positive mental attitude podcast, we learned that there is no my opinion. There is opinion that I gained by my mind being exposed. Now where? To my education, to my parents, to the ancestral lines and beliefs, to the media, to the news, to my interest. Everything of that shapes my opinion. So now if I watch one type of the news, and I think if I'm interacting with you watching the other type of news, I'm going to tell for you that you are brainwashed. Yeah, I can say that, but at the same time, I'm brainwashed too, just with a different content. So, and that is why the discipline is very important matter of one's growth. Is because mind is such a thing that need to be programmed. Either you're going to program it yourself by discipline and exposing yourself to only things you would love to know more about and grow on your knowledge about. More you're going to question some topic, more you're going to learn about that, but then you don't rely on other people's opinion on the certain topic. You need to dig deep and literally not only go to, let's see, whatever the topic is, how big is the earth, how is it flat or is it round, or is it, what kind, I don't know, how, whatever question you want to ask, you just don't go to Google the first thing. You need to study. By studying the certain topic, you're going to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And by digging deeper and knowing more, you're going to learn more how much there is unknown. So there is Napoleon Hill said greatly, he said, like, the mind of one need to be programmed. Otherwise it can't work. So our mind need to be programmed. And he said, once you have that power back from your school, religion, home, environment, and social and family inheritance, once you gain the power of your mind back, you need to keep it strong, like a angry horse. Because if you want program your mind, gonna be programmed by the others, whoever others are. Your friends, your neighbors, your media, your outlet, your books, your news, newspapers, whatever happens there is what we expose ourselves to. So now if I want to call myself rich, and if I want to be richness and be observed like a really rich, independent, and happy man, I need to appreciate and have an open mind on all subjects. Its meaning, when we say it's white, then might perception be that it's not white. Or it can be green, but it also can be a different mix of yellow and blue. No one of us is actually wrong. So the only idea of us understanding how the mind really operates and why this is very important for the groomers and everyone that's in the field of the pet care is because we tend not to interact with the humans, or we like to interact with the like-minded people. So we like to interact with the introvert people that are like us. So that is why they choose to be groomers. And then on top of that, you're building an empire, like you're building your brand and you're building your big thing and big picture in the field of the pet care. So actually all of your clients would be, 98% of them would be introvert as well, like you are and like we are. No matter which kind of boundaries and which kind of flair and which kind of ideas we need to kind of, you know, kind of impose on us, so we understand, oh, I'm not introvert, I'm extrovert. I must say, like, it's not an easy task for me just to switch on the camera, no matter how easy it looks. I'm very shy man, I'm very introvert person, and it's not easy for me to do. It was never easy to be done, but I said, like, either I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna keep doing this, because I was a groomer and everything was okay. But then when I was sucked into the professional show dog handling, then my introvert personality was actually costing me a lot. I couldn't interact with the people almost at all because I was paralyzed. So by knowing that, I wanted and needed to go and try to find another way to kind of either work on this and fix it, and then one of the tasks my therapist told me to do is actually, go in the middle of the public street and start singing a song or start talking to strangers. And now oftentimes I encourage my students to start to go live on the Instagram or somewhere else, expose yourself. And you need to see that it's not actually so difficult to understand that the other peoples have much more to think about than to criticize you, because that's the fear of criticism. It's the first fear that holds someone away from being publicly exposed. So open mind to all subjects would be something that we need to discipline our mind on. You need to discipline yourself to understand that there is your view, there is my view, and that there is a truth, usually always in between. So there is a paradigm of the groomer, there is a paradigm of the client. Both of them have expectations, and there is a dog that connects them. So we have a client, we are client, and then we have we are the groomers, and we have our client, and the client is ours because they have dogs, so we need to groom their dogs. So the dogs is a middleman in between the groomer and the client. But then what happens there is like completely two different things, because when you oftentimes you will hear like little lady is bringing her dog, like let's say Maltese, to a grooming shop, and then she would say, oh, can I get a puppy cut? And then the groomer would say, puppy cut is not for the Maltese, it's for the show dog poodle. And it was just, but no, give him a puppy cut so it can look like a puppy. So that's kind of like misinterpretation and and then the lack of the positive mental attitude in the groomer would actually turn away this client, because there is not a harmony in a human relationship between people. And of course, there is not open mind on the subject that these people are communicating of. So that's very important to understand, that if I don't have an open mind to understand and discuss with the other people, no matter how hard I worked my life off so I have money on the bank account, there is not a single element of me being considered rich. The only, again, I'll come back to the Western world, the only thing that counts when analyzing richness is how much money is on a bank account. That's significant. I'm coming from Serbia. It's a little country on the Balkan, in the kind of west southeast Eastern Europe, that was going through the big recession and inflation. For example, when you earn money in the morning and you get paid like $5 for the entire month, you work for the $5, and then you then you need to take that money that you get in Serbian dinars. Then you need to, and it's a pile of money. That would be 100 million dinars that you would go and trade for $5. And if you run too slow, so you go from the point where you get your money, your millions, your billions, you get a million money, you get a millions and millions of dinars. So you get from there to the exchange office. If you are not fast enough, instead of earning $5, you can end up having 3. So having money is actually not the big point of, not a good symptom of what richness actually means. After that, of course, the very important thing is self-discipline. The people that are not disciplined enough to think, talk, and interact with the other people on the level of consciousness, no matter how much money is in a bank account, are not considered rich. Lastly, would be capacity to understand people. So I do understand how the mind operates, how my mind operates, how your mind operates, how did we ended up where we are, and how to move from here to the next level would be just an idea of overwhelming understanding. So my capacity of understanding that you are the way of you interacting with from the level of your consciousness, and that your consciousness is on the level of your awareness, as much as my consciousness is on my level of awareness, where it doesn't necessarily mean that we experience consciousness on the same level. Yours might be higher because your level of awareness of how the life and world operates is much higher than mine. So by you trying to explain me how the life is, it wouldn't make sense for me. So capacity of understand that's what makes an unharmonious relationship possibly harmonious. It's only one thing that separates those two people getting into a fight. Oh, I'm right. No, I'm right. You're both right from the level of your own awareness and from the level of our own consciousness. And only if these 11 things and 11 characteristics of the person are in place, then what happens naturally is the financial security. Financial security is not a number. Financial security is not even it is a number, it's not something that's socially calculated number. Financial freedom means that I can afford myself everything I want. And usually how it goes, more I want, less I need. More I need, how it goes. More I have, less I need. More money I have, less I'm gonna need. So actually my financial security gonna be more and more sustainable and more visible only from 2 points of view. If my income increases or my needs or wants decrease. So that creates that financial security, so I can grab in whenever I need without thinking how much it costs. So but the financial security can be, the people that are afraid of losing everything can be financially secure no matter how much money they have. In his in the book You Are Born Rich, Bob Proctor divided people based on the financial relationship with the money, based on relationship with the money, only in 3 categories. The ones that spend everything they have, the second group spends more than they have, and the third group that saves from whatever they have. And he said, like, it doesn't matter like how much money they have, the personality remains until something doesn't shift inside. So the people that learn to spend everything they had, if they don't work on themselves, they're going to spend regardless. If they earn 10,000, they're going to spend 10. If they earn 100,000, they're going to spend 100,000. If they earn 3 millions, they're going to spend 3 millions. On the other side, the people that are in a habit of spending more than they have, no matter how much money they have, they're going to spend more than they have. So if they have $10,000, they're going to spend 15. If they have 100,000, they're going to spend 200,000. So, and then the idea would be to, and then the third group of the people saves no matter how much money is there. They said like a philosophy of those people would be whatever you can do with $10, you can do with 9 too, rather than saving one. And if you do 10 times like that, you're going to have, you bought yourself 9 things for $9. And now you have a budget of $10 to do whatever you want with that. But if you give more money to those people, they're going to save more. So money, more money, just improves more of who you are usually. The greedy people become more greedy. The lovable and cherishable people become more cherishable. So sometimes the God protects us from getting money on time before we are not actually ready for the money. Until we are not good person and we have any sign of these inner problems, I'll just name them. So positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony and human relationship, freedom from fear, hope of achievements, capacity for faith, willingness to share one's blessing, labor of love, open mind on all subjects, self-discipline, capacity to understand people, and finally, financial security. So that would be laid out what is actually the shortcuts to richness is to work on the money last. Somehow in this crazy world that we live in today, it's actually just a reflection of the craziness that lives inside every one of us. When I say craziness, I mean actually more the chaos. So the chaos in our mind, the chaos in our hearts, the chaos in our attitude creates chaos around us. We can't live in another world. So if you really honestly challenge yourself and then you go inside to analyzing yourself, you're going to see a lot of hidden corners of fear, anxiety, chaos inside. And then you would say all of this around me is actually a big blessing because forces me to look inside, dig deeper, and then actually try to find a peace within. So when I finally try to find the peace within, no matter what happens around me, would be like a miracle, because my perception of me needed to be involved in the chaos around disappears. So the more peaceful our mind is, more peaceful the world around us will be. And the more chaotic our mind is, the more chaotic we're going to be outside. So we're going to look and attract the chaotic relationships. And even, when a lot of, when a lot of people are in chaotic inside, state of mind, then what actually happens is a reflection of the chaos from a lot of inside outside that creates all of our physical reality we do live at this moment. And then the only way to overcome and protect ourselves from this, by protecting our mind from being exposed and experiencing all of this chaos from outside, confirming. But why we are so stuck, why we are so glued to the news that are confirming the chaos inside ourselves, is because we want proof that it's not up to me. It's not because of me. It's not because of me that this world is a chaos. It's because of the world I'm in chaos. And that's wrong concept. We learned that from the Bible. You don't need to read that entire one. You just need to stick to the beautiful story when the God told to the Adam and Eve, like, don't eat from this tree of knowledge. Don't eat yet. And then they ate, and then he came, and then he couldn't find Adam. He said, "Where are you hiding? Why you are hiding?" He said, "I'm naked." But he was naked yesterday too. And day before yesterday, you was naked as well. So what's wrong today? Oh, didn't you eat maybe a fruit from that tree I told you not to? He said, and that was a big slip. It's not because he ate the fruit. It's because he said that Eve made him do so. And then she said, no, 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 it's not me, it's because of the snake. And then the entire world collapsed because it's not of us behaving the way we know it's gonna hurting us down the road. It's because everything we live now it's for our own salvation. So if we live in not having, if we experience any health issues, and we whatever is driving us crazy through this time now, is actually for our own salvation. It's good for our foreverness. And it's a fruit of the way we was treating the world. Now it's just time to, reap the fruits of our labor. But it's also a good revelation that we can change that now, here, now. You can change it now. The only one thing that, takes us away from there is decision. In order for me to move on, I need to know two things: where I am and why I'm here, where I want to go, and decision to make a first step that's right step. Not the step that's easier, but the one that's right. Maybe for the first time in my life. I won't betray my feelings. I won't betray my things, my thoughts, my needs, my future, sort of the future of my kids. So that's how I'm gonna start treating myself today. Not the way I want to be treated. No, I need to develop the self-respect. So I'm gonna start treating myself the way I want to treat myselfness. And that doesn't come from anyone else treating me, my friends, my family, no, it's not, it's an only excuse. Everything starts within. And it's easy. It's easier than we think. It's only one thing: positive mental attitude. An entire podcast of this so far, like 10 to, I think this is like 13th episode. We are giving tools of how this mental constant improvement can be done. And you know what? There is no shortcut to richness. The richness happens within. So the richness happens within through developing 12 mind characteristics. So everything is up to me. Developing positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony in a human relationship, freedom of fear, hope of achievement, capability of help, willingness to share with others, labor of love, open mind to all subjects, self-discipline, capacity of understand people. Everything is up to my mind. Everything is up to my own good will. Either I'm gonna do it, either I won't. It's on me. Decision and responsibility, it's on me. I can't say, oh, it's because. No, there is no because. There is no because. There is always inside us something that always opens as a driving force when we think there is no other option left in life. But you know what? You never make a compromise. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you want to do it no matter what. Because oftentimes we do pay price for doing it or not doing it. Because our life develops from everything we did, but everything we didn't do. So there is no shortcut to richness. It doesn't depend of how hard you work. It doesn't depend in which field you work. It doesn't depend in how many clients you have, how great you hold scissors, how do you know the code types and what standard written for this breed or that breed. Richness doesn't happen there. Richness is inner state of mind that lays on positive mental attitude, sound physical health, harmony in a human relationship, freedom from fear, hope of achievements, capacity for faith, willingness to share one's blessings, labor of love, open mind to all subjects, self-discipline, capacity to understand people that will lead to a financial security. All of these 11 leads to a financial security. So until we are not ready to receive richness, it won't happen, no matter how hard we try. We can beat the dead horse. Probably that's what our parents were doing, but that was the best they knew, because that was awareness of how the life operates. That was awareness of their conscious. That was awareness to develop their consciousness. And on that awareness, we need to work. That's our foundation. If this is the first time you are watching, I encourage you to go to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sasharis World, or go to the sasharis.com, click podcast, and watch all the episodes that lead to this one. Because there is in the first 10 you have homeworks recommended to be done on a weekly level, one by one. Open start from the first episode and start doing those, and see how miraculous ideas gonna hit your mind. You wouldn't be able to understand like where all of this beauty is coming from. So also I was very blessed. So I came across and I got a couple of questions from you that I want to take time to answer now. And also I encourage you as well to kind of write me questions you want me to answer. So I'm going to take time, and every single time on the end of these sessions, I'm going to answer your questions. So these ones were coming from my direct messages in Facebook. And I have a question from Kelly from Utah and Joe from Texas, San Antonio. So thank you so much for asking these very valuable questions. And I think like a lot of us can face a reality in this world. So Kelly was asking like, how do you advise us groomers to deal with a situation where we are approached with a variety of the people with different worldviews that are opposed to ours? How do we go about our own business while still attempting to serve those kind of the people that are directly opposed our worldview and paradigms? So that's again is taking a step back and brings us to the possibility of understand what is a positive mental attitude. It's exactly, you said, you close the question with the answer. How do we serve the people that are directly opposed to our worldviews and paradigms? As much as you have them, someone else had them as well, and do have rights to hold them. But the level of the consciousness going to make a distinctive life. Will we going to react on those, or are we going to respect those? So if I know that I'm programmed, that my point of view was programmed, and that depend of how much I left the outer world of this chaos infiltrate my mind, only lays on the level of self-discipline that I carried on by closing a rough curtain around my mind, making it be unpenetratable for the informations that doesn't serve my purpose. So here you go. Lack of purpose gonna help me drift through the life, thinking that the news can solve my problem, that the newspapers can solve my problem, then someone else can solve my problem. So, and by drifting to all of these stations, I'm gonna keep running away from myself. So, and by me exposing myself to all of these people that I care about, I'm gonna kind of let them shape my paradigm because I'm lazy or I don't have time to do it myself. But only awareness of that can help us understand that there is my paradigm, there's your paradigm, and there is a truth, usually somewhere in between. So then we need to take a step back, and you never claim that you are right, because you are right according only from your perception that not necessarily need to be right. So understanding how the mind operates can help us put us in a great position communicating with the people that doesn't share our values, that doesn't share our paradigms. But because of that, being in a business and developing a brand is crucial for your success. Because if you would communicate your message clearly enough, you wouldn't be attracting people that not share your beliefs. So that's where actually the brand, the brand is a fuel for the business, but the business is a driving force. No, it's opposite. The brand is a driving force for the business, and the business fuels the brand. Because you can't have a driving force and momentum and talking the story without money, because you can't penetrate the market. So as more business you do, more you're going to be able to explore your to expand your message and reach more people. So that's where it's very important to understand that once you communicate your message clearly, you're going to attract the people that share your values. Then you won't deal with the people that will oppose to your beliefs, because those people wouldn't see your ads, wouldn't resonate with your logo, wouldn't listen to your narrative, wouldn't communicate with your brand and story and everything. So that's why the brand is very big. There are very big importance to be developed of and to who you really are. So once you stand for something, you keep that direction. If you strongly keep that direction, most gonna you be approached by the people that trust you, by only seeing you and trusting you, and they're gonna, hook up with you and understand. So if you interact with the people that are not happy, that complain, that do all of these, you know what means that you didn't do a proper marketing. And you didn't do a proper marketing because you don't know who you really are. You don't know what your brand message is. So when you go out there and you send, letter to the groomers that you groom dogs, then everyone that needs the grooming comes to your shop. But who are those people? But if you say, through your messaging system, messaging system is just a tool. Your advertising campaign is just a tool. How to spread your message. So you are actually spreading your message. And that the people that share core values with you, by understanding the message, would love to experience the message through getting and have a service from you. Then you will never get in trouble with the people you serve. And then we have Joe ask kind of similar question, but on the other direction. He's like, as a groomer, we all know the importance of healthy, balanced lifestyle that can include diet and exercise. How do we deal with the other parts of our small addictions in order to fully master our senses working in such high stress prone environment? That's a great point of view. And I do assure you that yes, we do need to take care about our health, and that's very important. So what actually gonna put us in a path of this is a little self-discipline. So it's not that I can't lose weight, it's just that I'm not on a level of the conscious awareness about how health and diet is important for my selfness. And then if I get to that point, then no diet gonna be a diet. The diet gonna become a lifestyle. So and then I'm not stopping of eating anything I want. Just my wants switch from what don't serve me into what serves me. So, and when we talk about emotional overeating, again, it's emotional overeating. It's nothing to do with the food. It's to do with emotions. So the first thing first. So the first we need to be aware of that. So once become aware of that, then everything else starts to somehow unfold. So once we become aware of that, that because of my business, because of my hours, because of my clocks, I don't have time for myself, so I need to snack all day. And then finally, when I get home, then I have a big meal. But I snacked already 3,000 calories by eating junk food in a shop. But who gonna prepare home? Celeries and carrots, and I'm sick of dieting all my life. I know how that it goes. Like I always have eating disorders. I gonna either eat and eat and eat, or I gonna fast in order to get to the level of being bulimic or something like that. So I experience both ways. But it's everything. It's on a level of emotional stress, and don't forget that we gravitate to work with the dogs because we are emotional people. And dealing with the emotions is very sophisticated and very not an easy job because it creates emotional person. And the emotional person thinks that the world usually is against me. So if I'm really emotional, I'm going to be triggered by a lot of things. And in order to cope with those triggers, the safest would be to, kind of like stick to some sort of addiction that will transmute my problem into a solution. And then the solution might even, impact my health even more. So for example, I'm gonna, roll the joint or smoke cigarette, or I'll deliver the overeating habits. All of those three ways of dealing with the emotional challenges would be socially acceptable. It's okay just to roll the joint and then all the world is beautiful. Or it's okay to have it on a regular basis, just, smoke a cigarette and, lower your anxiety level. Or on the other side, like, finish the bar of the chocolate or do this or do that. So it's a kind of like, so Joe, I applaud to your question because it's very conscious. So it's not about a diet, it's about a healthy lifestyle that we don't allow ourselves. And that's, again, putting the question like this already leads to a solution. Try to find a solution through a positive mental attitude. Don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. That's not okay. So soon we say yes to something that's not okay, it's a halfway through a decision. I'm going to work through this because I have a power, I have a strength, and I have all tools of this world available to me here and now to fix no matter what issues I'm dealing with. Thank you so much for your time. I encourage you to book your calendar again for the next week that we're gonna have spent here on when, Beltran? Can it be Monday? Okay. Okay, so if we make it on Monday, we'll make it on Monday. If our producer gonna be on Kraft's show on Monday, then we're gonna do Tuesday. But anyhow, we're gonna see you next week in a moving on podcast. Topic would be attract, don't repel, and then wealth on the end. So don't repel. That's the very important moment that we keep doing it. You change the plan that doesn't work, but don't change the dream. We're going to talk about next week. In that, I welcome you. Follow our social media so you know exactly when it's going to happen next week. It's going to be Monday or Tuesday. This is going to be a topic. And thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for trusting us at this path. And I wish you a wonderful and amazing week ahead. Stay blessed and bye.
Welcome to Miami. Bienvenido a Miami.
Going to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
South Beach, bring the heat. Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that? Check it out.
Thank you.